This is Nicole Newman Coulter from Church Stars, and I'm sitting here with gospel playwright Evelyn Jones Reed.
Hi.
And we're getting ready to do an artist-to-artist interview about a behind-the-scenes look at Evelyn's journey, her life, how she started writing, and I'm just going to dig right in.
Okay.
Okay, so Evelyn Jones Reed, gospel playwright from Dallas, Texas, and you started at Black colleges and universities.
Correct.
Is it the Sojourner
Truth Players.
and the Shadows of Arlington? You were over the drama ministry, the director at your church.
Correct.
2007, you started WG Ministry Theatrical Productions.
Correct.
And you've worked with film and stage actors like Grammy Award winner Ann Nesby.
Who happens to be my first cousin.
Really? That's awesome. Ann Nesby is her first cousin, y'all. Sounds of Blackness. Y'all remember them? Tyler Perry, Tony Grant, Darren Henson, Shay Witten, Samson Logan.
Correct. Andre Petrie.
Yes, and you're a multi-award winning playwright yourself.
Yes.
And she's also up for 3 or 4 awards with the Church Stars Christian Entertainment Award.
Yes.
For Best Stage Play, Director, and Supporting Actors.
Yes.
Supporting Actors. Yes. Okay, so when did you know you had the gift to write?
Actually, I happened to write. I was an actress first.
Oh, I see.
Writing, I never went to school to study writing. I never, what happened was I went out to be, and that's what I have my degree in, is actually in dramatic arts. And that's what I thought to be, was an actress.
Okay.
But with a failed marriage, my husband said I spent too much time on the road, because we were on the road with Shadows that you mentioned earlier. So the truth, we were always gone.
So you were acting on the road.
Acting on the road.
Ooh, we gotta get into that.
We rehearsed Monday through Wednesday, and we leave Thursday, and we wouldn't come back till Sunday. So it was like, you need to start staying home.
Yeah, that's hard.
It was very hard.
How old were you doing that?
I was in my early 20s.
So you've been doing this forever?
Forever.
Yes. Okay, so you started off acting first, so how did you get that itch?
Well, how I got to acting is, we'll go back way to the beginning. I was raped as a child. I was brutally raped at 5 years old and left to die in a ditch. And I did not speak for a year because I stuttered. And because I stuttered, everybody made fun of me, so I just chose not to speak. So there was one teacher and they wanted to put me in special ed because I stopped speaking. So there was one teacher, this was her very first year of teaching, and she said, there's nothing wrong with him, we just need to break through and find out where the barrier is. So each day she would keep me after class, and she would make me act out what I wanted to say. And that's how I found out I had a gift. What the devil meant for evil, God turned around for good.
I mean, you never know people's story.
Yeah. And I was silent. And that traumatic is what got me into acting.
Wow. And okay, so then when you started an actress, you're on the road.
We're on the road, we're traveling. I was still in college. And then I was recently married, so I was gone all the time. And so my husband was like, you need to make a choice. Either your home, your marriage, your children, or this career. So I chose that. I chose my home. So after 10 years of being depressed from doing what I really, really wanted to do, then I started just jotting my thoughts. And that's how I became a writer.
And when did you know, okay, I have something here. This could be a play.
Well, actually, my church, I guess, could see the talent from my former church. They could see the talent, and they were like, why don't you start doing little skits? And that's how it started. So never demise small beginnings, because that's where you come from. So I would start doing little small skits at the church, and then they started going into big productions, and then in 2007, I just stepped out on faith and started creating my own ministry.
And how did your family react to it when you started doing? And I'm telling you, she puts on major productions. I flew out to Dallas for Preach and Silly Women. I'm talking ice sculptures, hors d'oeuvres. It's just huge. Yes, it's huge. I was just so impressed and have so much admiration for you, just to see your production and the skill and the professionalism. I left Dallas inspired. Well, how did you balance that with your family and your children?
Well, when I was single, during the divorce, my kids were very, very supportive, because they knew I had to have me time.
Yeah.
So I had my own room that I would actually write in. So they never would. And the funny thing about my kids, They said they can tell when the characters unfold because I like to type with my eyes closed. So if it's something, so if it's a funny character, I'm so when I'm typing. And if it's somebody sad, and that's what they would get worried about me because I would go into deep darkness.
So you see it.
Yeah, I see it. And if it's sad,
so you're an atmosphere writer?
Yes.
Okay, so you can't just sit down and go. The atmosphere has to be right. I'm the same way.
Atmosphere has to be right.
The atmosphere is not right, I can't.
Yes.
Okay, let me see what the other question is. What is your process when you're writing? How do you get your ideas? Are you coming from experiences, emotions, what?
A combination of all. But first of all, because I title myself as a gospel playwright, so everything I write has to do with the Bible. Because there's so many stories in the Bible. But I try to make it modern to fit our today's society. But everything is based upon the scripture. So I always pray before I do anything. And it may be months of praying before something even comes. And as an idea or thought comes, now I'll always jot it down and I'll date it. Because I may go back to it 3 years later and this fits for something else. But when thoughts come and I keep my cell phone, I'm always
writing things or when things come to you. So how long does it take you to write a full play? Can you just do it sometimes quick or other times you take your time?
Sometimes quick and sometimes not. Because the play I did, What in Hell, I prayed about that play almost 8 months before it came. But when it came, I finished that play in 3 days. Then other plays it take longer. But that play, because it was just, and I was at 3 o'clock in the morning, I would be up right, and I wouldn't even be sleepy at work. And then as soon as I get a break, I'm
right, things are coming to
things
you.
Are coming.
So I think sometimes when you get stories like that, God just gives it to you fast.
He does.
And you have to do it when it comes.
When it comes. You can't miss that opportunity.
No, you can't miss that opportunity. So, directing, actors in the church and at the colleges and the theaters, what was it like when you started having headliners like Tony Grant and Samson? What was that like? Were you nervous to do, celebrities that are on TV to be in your plays?
Right. Well, they made my experience so awesome because they're so awesome and unique people, and they don't bring hard personalities. They're not divas. So when they came on board, it was like, even though they're who they are, they make you feel so comfortable that Miss Evelyn, what do you want from us? Miss Evelyn, it's not that I'm so-and-so, so-and-so. They make it so easy. They make your work so much easier.
Now, anticipating directing the headliners that you had in your plays, were you nervous at
Yes. Because you're first nervous to make the call. How they're going to respond to you, are they going to whatever. And they were just so awesome. They were like, okay, who are you? And I told them who I was, what I was doing. Okay, and of course they do check up on you, so that's why it's always important to have a good reputation.
Yes.
It's always important because they do check up on you.
And the way you treat people.
Right. So Tony's like family. He's been in so many of our productions, and his wife Trish, we just love him.
And Tony Grant, he's on OWN Network's Love Thy Neighbor. He's been in several of your productions.
Yes.
So looking at how far you've come now, what would you tell your younger self as a director?
Always be prepared, always study, because people, by me writing from the Bible, people check up on you. So you need to know, and even if you're not going to write from the Bible as I do, but to know the characters, the atmosphere, where they're from, that's really important because people do research and check up on you, and if your stuff doesn't line up, it's like, well, you say he's a smoker, but he never picked up a cigarette. Just little simple stuff like that. People do watch the fine details.
So, and people don't realize there's behind the scenes drama, that goes on, with the production. How do you, handle difficult people or the conflict sometimes that can be behind the scenes?
And there are, that's with anything, with a job or anything, but what I do is I tell my shift that we're family. Families first, and I try to nip it right there in the bud. And then if they continue, then that's it.
Yeah. I know I had a lady once who, it was like 3 days before the play and she backed out.
Wow.
And because I wrote the script, I had to step in and play the character. But, people don't realize that we could actually write plays on what goes on behind the scenes.
Right, that's true. My daughter says it all the time. She calls it the drama world.
Yeah, if people only knew.
Right.
Now, with this industry being so competitive, how important do you think it is to develop relationships with other playwrights and to develop like a network of colleagues? Because it can be, competitive. I just now, I would say within the last year or two, started reaching out to other playwrights because it wasn't necessarily common to know others.
Right.
And I think that's why I even created Church Stars, because I went to a film festival here that was so stuffy. I didn't feel like I belonged. And I'm like, you know what? I want to meet people just like me and create. How important do you think that is to have, those kind of relationships?
It's important because iron sharpens iron, and you need that support. I have like Scott Robinson, Jeanette, Jonitha, DeMarcus Bailey. They're people that I can call. Like if I need a headliner or if they work with it, just like headliners check up on us, we check up on them too.
Yeah.
And they're important because, I may not know how to get something across as far as, if I want to travel or something, what to do. And they've done that before. They don't mind sharing their information to tell me how to do it. So it's really important. And then a person that's wants a friend, you got to show yourself friendly. And you can't always think that everybody knows you, because everybody doesn't. Because Dallas is a big face, and I remember one time there was a question on Facebook. One of the playwrights had written that nobody comes to support her. Well, honestly speaking, I never heard of her. And that's not saying anything bad on her. I just had never heard of her. So, and in order to say, well, maybe sometimes invite another playwright. They may not really know you. So invite somebody, and that way that's how we all become friends.
And I have to tell you, like with Church Stars, we post the most shows and events from Dallas.
You do.
From Dallas. I'm like, wow. I thought that maybe it was going to be Atlanta.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Dallas is a big market.
Dallas has so many plays and comedy
and that's why it's so hard to keep up with them.
Yeah, because there's so many.
So many, yeah.
So what do you think are some do's and don'ts for actors on stage?
Well, do's and don'ts as far as the technical part, make sure that you engage your audience. A lot of times they make mistake of this study watching this way instead of watching that way and bringing them into it. And then always, when you have technical problems, your mics may go bad. You can't hear yourself, they can't hear yourself, they can't hear you either. And then another, as far as not side of the technical, if the director has given you a direction, it's okay to talk with them and see what their vision is, but don't always decide you want to change it. First find out, get the permission, because they may be okay with it. Okay, yeah, that works, but that may not be what they really wanted.
Right, you want them to tell the story you wrote.
Right.
So, gosh, I lost my thought there. God, I lost my thought that fast.
That's okay.
What was I going to ask you? With you managing everything during the production, everybody's asking for direction. They're asking for this and that. How do you manage, everything that comes at you during the production, and how do you manage to stay calm? Keep everybody else and your actors calm, because they're looking to you as a leader.
Right. Well, that's where you have a good team. I have an awesome team. I have Labrita Deuce, who's my stage manager. I have, I call them the Rada chicks, Sandra and Maple. They're always back there to keep people calm. And then I have my children, which are a big part. They work in the office part of it. So, and it is overwhelming sometimes, and it can be overwhelming because everybody, even though you have a production team, because your name is on it, you're the person, they still come to you.
Yeah.
But you have to learn how to delegate. And I'm learning that. I didn't at first.
So at first when you're doing everything?
Every single thing.
But you kind of have to in the beginning.
You kind of have to. You do.
You kind of have to until you can get that core group of people that you can really trust.
Right.
So what do you look for out of an actor in an audition?
I look for positive energy. I don't want to be surrounded by gossipers. I don't want to be surrounded by people that are selfish, because I'm not a selfish person. And I like people that share, because you may have to be in a room with them, you may have to share food with them, you may have to share clothes. So I look for sharers. I look for people who don't mind helping a struggling person. And I don't say that you have to take over, but if you see something, you come to them in a positive way, maybe behind the scenes, pull them to the side, well, maybe let's try this, and let's go run it by Miss Reed and see what she says, so take over. But I look for supporters to boost them out there and encouragers, not all about me.
And do you ever mix amateurs with professionals? You do? Okay, I know that's great.
I do.
So what is it like for Evelyn Jones Reed the day after a big production?
I'm like, what am I going to do next? I feel so unemployed.
Really? So
I do. No.
So you're on to the next.
I'm on to the next. Because it's just like, the build up, and then as soon as it's over with, well, most people would just, okay, this is over. Yes, no. It's like, I have nothing to do.
So you feel like you're doing nothing.
Yes, and I'm ready.
So you're living in the manifestation of your dreams. How does it feel, and in what ways have you had to adjust?
Well, this time around, God has given me a rock. Hallelujah. He is so supportive. He's my backbone. He just supports me. Whatever you want to do, come on, baby, I'm with you. And that makes a big difference. Mm-hmm. And my life is much easier now, as we were teasing before we came live and sing about my house husband.
Yes.
Well, it gives me a chance to write because all the house stuff, he handles that now. Where I don't have to do that.
Which is just so
it's
nice.
Awesome. It's awesome. I'm like living a life.
Well, tell me, like the story that you shared, I mean, I had to keep from crying when you were telling me what happened to you. Mm-hmm. Do you think that you'll ever write about it?
You know what? Almost not every play. The play we just did, Seven Women, One Man, Joyce Williams, she acted my part. She did a little monologue of it. So I try to, not all my stories, but most of them, a little bit about it, because that's me. Uh-huh. And then I always put a character that stutters, because that's me. Mm-hmm. So.
And what was that like? Because I would never know anything like that.
Well, it was different to be 5 years old and then to wake up, like I said, in a pool and actually covered by ants, because ants were all over me, just to be left alone to die.
Yeah.
And as a child, because I grew up with brothers, my friends had boys. I could never spend a night at their house for that reason. But my parents never explained to me, because back then, parents had older parents. They didn't tell you what happened. You just knew something bad happened to you.
Yeah.
But nobody explained.
So you didn't find out till later.
Well, I knew something happened to me, but I guess because I blacked out.
Speaking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know what had happened to me. Mm-hmm. And I knew I was violated, but at the time, you don't know what violation really is. Mm-hmm. You're not taught about sex and all that stuff. So
you don't have any recollection of it either.
Not of the act itself.
Good, that's good.
Not of the act.
Because I find that happens when I was young. I was 3 or 4 years old. My mommy dropped me off to the babysitter. Mm-hmm. Me and then another little girl were in the room. We started playing in the room, and there was a gun. Mm-hmm. We played with the gun. The gun went off and shot me.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I don't recall any of it.
Wow.
But it's so weird though, because sometimes your memory can be sparked. Mm-hmm. I might write about that one day.
Yeah.
But I saw a picture.
Spark.
Ooh.
That's a good title. When you said that, I could just see that.
Yeah.
Oh, I could see you with the closet, in the closet, in the
that's right.
I could see that.
But it's so weird. I was 21 years old, looking at some pictures. I saw myself that age, and I was boo-hoo crying, didn't know why.
Why?
My mom, she comes and looks, she just grabs the picture, she lifts it up. And I said, Mom, what's wrong? She said, that's the dress you had on when you got shot.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
Wow.
But I think, like you were saying, you don't remember. When something that traumatic happens to you, you don't recall it. But I mean, I thank God for that too.
Right.
Because it's so, you don't want to really remember anything like that. But that would be powerful for you to write about. I mean, it kind of reminds me of Maya Angelou a little bit when she didn't speak. Mm-hmm. So do you remember not speaking?
I just remember not wanting to speak because I grew up here in Arizona and I grew up in Flagstaff, and at the time I was the only black in my class.
Yeah.
So kids to tease you that are not African American and stuff. So for me, it was really a hard time. It was really a hard time. And I can remember as an adult the effect I had on my children, because I remember one day just sitting home and just crying for no reason. And my first husband asked me, he said, "Why are you crying?" And I was just worried about my daughter, even though she wasn't in harm's way. What if somebody raped her? And it just,
and I was that fear.
Yeah. And I was sitting there, it's like, who's bothering me?
Yeah, because I remember when I'm divorced too, but I'm remarried. And I remember, I came into my marriage with a child.
Right.
And my husband now had a gun, and I got rid of it.
Right.
Because it just was too, traumatic. I'm like, oh, what if she finds it?
Right.
So I can understand you saying that fear, kind of setting in. So do you find yourself quiet sometimes? Or?
A lot of times. A lot. And it does have
I think that's a good thing, though.
It's good and it's bad because it does have an effect on you and it has an effect on your relationships. It really does. Believe it or not, it really does.
Because they don't understand how deep some of it goes, and they can take it personal when it has nothing to do with them.
Right. And that's another title, Hidden Scars.
That's
our title. That's our title.
I mean, but as a writer,
I got to write that down. So when we get through, I'm going to put my name.
Yes, you have to do that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to end on fun questions with what is your favorite word?
To God be the glory.
And what's your least favorite word?
I can't.
Okay, what profession other than your own would you have chosen to do?
A nurse.
Okay, name something that gets better with age.
Teaching.
I love that because of your experiences. Okay, if you could cook for the president and first lady, what would be on the menu?
Gumbo.
Okay, what's the best advice someone has ever given you?
Don't quit.
Okay, and if you could eat a dozen of something right now, what would it be?
Cookies.
Okay. And then we had talked about the funniest thing that's happened in the audition, but we're going to say that.
I was going to sit on that one.
But this has been such a fun interview. I'm so honored just to even be sitting here with you, talking to you. I was telling my mom, I cannot wait to interview her, because I was just so impressed when I came and I just saw all the things that you're doing there in Dallas. And then what do you have coming up? Because you just finished a play.
Right. A play called If You Play With Fire, You Will Get Burned, based upon Abraham and Sarah and the Handmaiden.
Ooh, that's going to be a good one. So you're going to try to do it this year or next year?
Next year.
Good. So you're going to take some time for yourself?
I'm taking some time because we're coming to Church Stars October the 1st.
Yes!
And I am so excited. I don't want to have nothing because I really want to concentrate on coming, and I'm like you. I'm excited.
Really? So am I.
Am.
And to me, like, just to, you know, like, for God to give you something and then to be people to get on board with you like that, I can't wait to dream with my eyes open.
Right.
You know what I mean? To see, okay, we all came together and we did this.
Right.
You know, I'm just so excited. And then for everybody just to be in the one room and for us to meet each other.
That's what I'm excited, meeting all the playwrights across the country, the film directors and all of that.
All the actors. I'm excited to be sitting here with you.
Well, I'm excited, and I want to commend you, because when you first contacted me, back last year, you told me you were coming to my play. And I was like, that is wonderful. And then to meet you, and I passed by you at the place, but not knowing it was you.
Yes.
Ripping and running.
Yeah, you know, you were busy.
I passed right, and you were just sitting there just so calm and just so patient, and I'm like, hi, and just kept right up.
Yeah, I'm just so passionate about it. You know, I mean, especially when you've been doing it a long time. And for me, it's just meeting other people like me. It's just been a blessing to me.
Well, you're a blessing to a lot of us because a lot of opportunities that we couldn't get our showcase if it wasn't for people like you. And I really applaud you. And I mean, and I've met a lot of, I don't know them personally, but to meet a lot of other writers and playwrights through Church Stars that I had never had the opportunity before, had never heard of before until Church Stars. Going on the website, looking at your website to see the different things, because you keep up on everything and you keep us up on every single thing.
Yeah, because I think sometimes, well, in the gospel community, so much the focus has been on music.
Right.
And we've been there alongside them the whole time.
That's true.
You know, because we've been doing this for years. So I think it's great to, like, finally have something that showcases us and what we're doing. And, you know, because it's ministry also.
That's true.
And even to show that there's different facets of, you know, even in the gospel that you can aspire to be.
Right.
And not just a singer, you can be a playwright, you can be a comedian,
That's true.
pantomime, dance, and even though we have had that, there's never really been the spotlight on it. You know, so Church Stars is here to say, hey, we're here.
Yep.
We're not going nowhere.
And you guys are getting bigger, because I remember when you first launched it, I was one of the first people.
Yes, you were.
And there wasn't that many. And now when I go on your website, you're like, okay, here. And the page just keeps going and just keeps going.
Yeah.
You keep adding and adding. And the network is just awesome.
Thank you. And I appreciate you being one of the first people that came on with Church Stars. You were, and you were just so receptive, because, you know, not everybody was receptive to it, which was kind of odd to me, because sometimes people don't, you know, they don't know what your intentions are.
Right.
So, you know, thank you for being receptive.
Well, the thing is, God doesn't give everybody the same vision that He gives you. So you just have to keep going forward with what He's giving you, and then He'll open it up. And that's how it was. They weren't. It wasn't their time to come on board. Until you had to prove yourself.
Yeah.
I'm legit. This is what I'm doing. This is what I've been called to do. And then your gift is just opening doors.
And you know what? I don't mind doing that because sometimes when I've told people that, they're like, "Oh, they acted like that with you." I don't take it as an insult because they don't know me.
That's okay.
You know what I mean? They don't know who I am and what I'm about, but I'm like, I'm gonna get you one of these days.
Next time you can be calling me for it.
Right. But you know, that doesn't make me feel better because you know, people they want to check you out. I know I check people out, you know, before I start working with them.
And you have to. You really do. So that's okay.
Well, this has been a great interview with Evelyn Jones Reed, gospel playwright, multi-award-winning playwright from Dallas, Texas. All right, signing off, artist to artist. Bye.
Bye.